Close your eyes for a moment. Listen to the quiet breath of the room. Is there really silence out there? Or is the mind still rushing inside? We live as if every moment demands action. To fix, to improve, to become. Yet what if true transformation is not born from effort at all? Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "Truth is a pathless land. No method can lead to it. No discipline can force it open." Pause. Feel the space between each thought. There is nothing to reach. The river flows on its own. What happens when the mind stops pushing? When you are neither escaping nor chasing? Could there be a freedom that reveals itself only when nothing is done? If these words already stir something quiet inside you, let this moment deepen. Stay with this exploration, and if you wish, gently subscribe, so this space of silence and inquiry can return to you whenever needed. No acción, just listening. From this very stillness, perhaps a total transformation begins. When the mind hears the phrase, "do nothing," it often protests. It asks, how can change happen if I don't act? How can problems dissolve if I remain still? This question is natural, yet it already carries an assumption that transformation is something to be achieved, like climbing a mountain or repairing a broken wall. But look closely. Every effort to become something better is born from what already is. The very movement of "I must change" springs from the same mind that feels limited, anxious, or incomplete. So the root of conflict remains untouched. Imagine a lake whipped by wind. No matter how much you try to flatten its surface with your hands, ripples continue. Only when the wind itself dies does the water become mirror still. In the same way, inner quiet is not created by will. It arrives when the agitation of becoming ceases on its own. Krishnamurti would often say, "To understand the immeasurable, the mind must be extraordinarily quiet, still." He did not mean a forced silence like closing a door against noise. He pointed to a natural stillness that comes when every movement of escape and pursuit ends. Pause here. Notice the subtle hum of your own thinking. Thought is useful. It builds houses, drives a car, writes a letter. But thought also projects fear of tomorrow and memory of yesterday, creating a field of constant reaction. When we look only through that field, we never meet life freshly. We meet our ideas about life. Can you observe thought as it rises, like watching clouds drift across a sky? Without naming them, without pushing them away? Just the seeing itself is enough. The moment you notice a thought and remain simply aware, without choice, something quiet begins to unfold. Consider how we live most days. We hurry from task to task, carrying an invisible weight. The urge to succeed, to secure, to protect an image of ourselves. Even rest is planned as a strategy. I will meditate to become calm. I will breathe to reduce stress. But can peace appear when it is a goal to reach? Or is peace the ground from which effortless action flows, once the chase stops? Think of the wind through a forest at dusk. No tree asks how to sway. No bird rehearses its song. There is a spontaneous order that requires no controller. Could human consciousness, freed from the tyranny of becoming, also move in such natural harmony? Sometimes people fear that doing nothing means passivity or escape from responsibility. But stillness is not indifference. On the contrary, when the mind is quiet, perception sharpens. From silence, action can be immediate and intelligent, like a clear mirror reflecting exactly what is. Krishnamurti called this action without the actor, a movement born from insight rather than compulsion. You might notice in yourself a subtle tension, a desire to get this, to succeed at being still. See how quickly thought turns even silence into an ambition. Can you allow that discovery without judgment? Simply notice the movement, like listening to a distant echo fade. In that very noticing, the effort relaxes. Perhaps right now you sense a small pocket of quiet between one breath and the next. It may last a heartbeat, it may vanish quickly. Do not cling to it. The attempt to hold silence is already noise. Let each pause come and go like waves on a shore. If these reflections speak softly to your heart, you may wish to keep journeying with us. Feel free to subscribe or save this space, not as a task, but as a gentle reminder to return when you long for a moment of inner spaciousness. Everyday life will continue to present its usual scenes. A sudden argument, a phone buzzing, the pressure to decide. Yet something fundamental has already shifted when you see these movements for what they are: patterns of thought, not unchangeable realities. This insight does not require dramatic effort. It simply appears when the mind watches itself without resistance. And in that watching, a door quietly opens to a dimension of freedom untouched by will. Notice how life keeps unfolding without consulting our plans. A tree does not ask if it should grow today. The sun does not request permission to rise. And yet the human mind, so clever, so restless, feels compelled to control, to interfere, to design an outcome. Krishnamurti pointed to this very tension when he said, "The observer is the observed." When you watch anger, fear, or desire, the watcher is not separate from what is seen. The division is an illusion created by thought. And as long as we maintain that illusion, we remain trapped in conflict. Take a simple moment from daily life. Someone criticizes you at work. Instantly the mind reacts, defending, explaining, replaying the scene again and again. But if, in that very instant, you simply observe the rising heat in the chest, the tightening in the throat, without calling it anger or me, something extraordinary happens. The energy of reaction begins to dissolve on its own. No fight, no suppression, no justification, just clear seeing. This is the essence of non-action. Not laziness, not resignation, but a quality of watchfulness so complete that the old machinery of resistance falls silent. The modern world trains us to measure progress. Steps walked, tasks completed, goals achieved. Yet the inner life is not a race. It moves like seasons, unseen, inevitable, free from clocks. When you sit quietly and let thoughts slow, you begin to sense this timeless current. Maybe right now, as you listen, a subtle space opens inside. Sounds come and go, the hum of an appliance, the breath in your chest. Yet awareness remains untouched. It is like a vast sky in which clouds of memory and anticipation appear and vanish. You are not those clouds. You are the open sky itself. Sometimes fear arises that without effort we will stagnate or make mistakes. But watch carefully. Is it true? A silent mind is not a blank mind. It is alive, alert, responsive. From such quiet, action springs naturally, like the heart beating without command. This action is whole, free of regret, because it is not born from the fragment we call me. Krishnamurti described this as choiceless awareness. To see without the weight of preference, without the filter of past conclusions. In that seeing, the mind is both utterly still and completely awake. Picture walking at dawn. Mist floats over a river. Every leaf holds a drop of dew. You are not thinking this is beautiful. You are beauty itself in that moment of direct perception. No distance between seer and seen. Such moments are not rare gifts from the outside world. They are natural when the mind is free of noise. Notice how quickly thought tries to capture such experiences. I must feel this again tomorrow. The instant you grasp, the moment is gone. But when you simply let life move, freshness returns again and again. Perhaps you wonder how to practice this. See the paradox? To practice is already to project an end, to calculate a result. Instead, begin wherever you are. Driving in traffic, washing dishes, listening to a friend. Observe each sensation, each thought, as it arises and fades. No need to correct or improve. Awareness itself is the quiet transformation. If these reflections nourish a gentle silence within you, remember that this channel exists as a simple companion. You may subscribe or share, not as a duty, but as a way to return to this field of quiet inquiry whenever life feels crowded. As this understanding deepens, relationships also shift. When you no longer carry the burden of becoming, you listen differently. You meet another human being without the screen of expectation. A conversation ceases to be a debate of egos and becomes a shared space of discovery. Even conflict begins to change. Instead of escalating, it reveals its roots in fear and memory. And because you see those roots directly, many problems end before they begin. This is not magic. It is simple clarity. Stay with this silence a little longer. It is not the silence of escape or withdrawal. It is vibrant, like the pause between musical notes that makes the melody possible. From this still ground, daily action, caring for a child, solving a technical challenge, tending a garden, flows with a natural intelligence that no method can teach. The mind that is quiet is not empty. It is vast. And in that vastness, something beyond the known quietly flowers. Allow this realization to settle, not as an idea to believe, but as a living fact to meet moment by moment. There is a moment when listening becomes so complete that the question of how to change simply fades. Perhaps you sense it now, a subtle shift, like the instant when night quietly gives birth to dawn. No announcement, no decision, just the sky becoming light. Up to this point, the mind has tried every movement it knows, to understand, to achieve, to control. But here, something different occurs. The very ground of effort grows silent. Thought recognizes its own limits and stops reaching. Krishnamurti once said, "It is only when the mind is free from the known that there can be a totally new state." Freedom is not at the end of a path. It blooms when the path itself disappears. Notice how, when you stop running inwardly, a new kind of energy appears. It is not the restless drive of ambition, but a quiet intensity, like a flame that needs no fuel. This is the essence of no action. Not apathy, not sleep, but an alert stillness in which life reveals its own order. Imagine watching a river at twilight. The water moves, yet the silence of the evening deepens. Action and stillness are not two separate things. The movement of the river and the stillness of the sky are one. So too can our daily life move from the stillness of an awakened mind. When the observer is gone, love is not an idea. Compassion is not a duty. They arise naturally, like fragrance from a flower. This love acts without motive, cares because caring is its nature. From this insight, relationships transform. The need to dominate or be approved dissolves. Listening becomes pure, without the burden of self. Conflict, which once felt inevitable, loses its fuel. Pause here. Sense the vast quiet behind each sound. It is not an achievement. It was always here, like the open sky behind every weather. Perhaps a thought appears. Will this last? See how quickly time re-enters. Let the question drift away. Truth is not bound to duration. It is timeless, present only now. If this glimpse of effortless freedom speaks to your heart, you might feel inspired to share it, not to convince, but to invite others into their own silent seeing. A gentle way is to share this reflection, so that friends or loved ones may also pause and discover. Understand this well. Such transformation is not personal. It is not your achievement. It is the ending of the self-centered movement. In that ending, the new begins. Krishnamurti described it simply, "In the stillness of the mind, there is creative emptiness." This emptiness is not nothingness. It is fullness beyond measure, the source of all fresh action. Look again within. What you call you, the bundle of memories, fears, and hopes, is a stream of thought. When that stream falls silent, there is no center to defend. There is only vast, living presence. This is total transformation. Not gradual, not tomorrow. It unfolds in the instant, when the mind stops seeking. Remain with this awareness. Let every breath be a doorway to the immeasurable silence that is already here. Stay here, just a little longer. No goal, no next step. Feel how the quiet of this moment is complete in itself. Nothing to add, nothing to remove. Silence breathing through every cell. The mind may whisper, what comes after this? Let that question fall like a leaf onto still water. There is nowhere else to reach. This is the living present, timeless, whole. You may notice sounds around you, a distant hum, the breath within your chest. They arise and fade, yet the spacious awareness holding them remains untouched. Krishnamurti said, "The ending is the beginning. As each thought ends naturally, a new freshness is born without effort. Life renews itself in every instant. When we stop carrying the burden of becoming, perhaps you feel a gentle warmth in the heart, a soft clarity in the mind. Do not hold it. Simply let it be. Silence is not a possession. It is the nature of being itself. From here, action will flow when needed. Words will be spoken, work will be done, but they will arise from a ground of stillness, not from hurry, not from fear. This quiet is never far. It is not hidden in mountains or distant retreats. It is as close as the next breath, as intimate as the space between thoughts. If this meditation has resonated in your heart, we gently invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel, leave a comment sharing your own moments of silent discovery, or share this video so others might also taste this boundless quiet. Do so only if it feels natural, as a continuation of stillness, not as an obligation. As you rise from this listening, carry nothing with you, not even the idea of silence. Simply walk, speak, work, letting each moment unfold from the spaciousness you now know. The sky outside is vast and without edge. So is the sky within. In that immeasurable space, life is always beginning anew. May you meet the next moment with the same effortless openness that breathes through this one.